Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Guts of Glowing Gold. I'm Melissa, and today's topic is all about brain fog, which is by far the most frustrating thing when it comes to having an autoimmune disease, chronic illness. Do I have brain fog now? Yes, I do. So let me just clarify a few things before I really get into like explaining everything and giving advice. Brain fog is not an actual diagnosis. Brain fog is just a symptom of a larger issue, and it doesn't have its own diagnosis, and it might not have a root cause. It might just be a So brain fog doesn't have an actual diagnosis. It's just a symptom, and you might not even know the exact cause of it. For, I would say, the majority of the people, it's a combination of a billion different things going on in your body where it just delays your mental process. I don't know about you guys, but like whenever you've talked about it with your doctors, it might just be like, yeah, you know, it's probably the steroids, or, you know, you're pretty sleep deprived or whatever. And they'll just say it's one thing. The majority of times it's probably a combination of a bunch, but it's just expected for you to have it once you become chronically ill. The best way to describe it is literally like you are driving through fog. And if you guys are from the Bay Area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you are in a car and you just see a block of fog and you just can't see the car in front of you. It's terrifying. That's exactly what it's like when you have brain fog. So brain fog is just like you have fog in your brain and it delays your cognitive functioning. So that means you have memory loss, you have lack of mental clarity, obviously, you have poor concentration, difficult holding a conversation, and then last but not least, the most important thing is that you're just not yourself. You know, I'm a very sarcastic human being, and so when there's an opportunity for a joke, I will like grasp that opportunity. But when I have brain fog, it just flies on by, and then like 3 hours later I'll be like, oh, that could have been punny. So when I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, it was literally 2 weeks before I started my freshman year in college. So I feel like I have a lot of tips I could provide when it comes to fighting brain fog that are both long-term and short-term. I think I have a bunch of advice that are good for long-term changes when fighting brain fog, but I also have some short-term ideas that are great for like immediate results that are perfect for you college students. So for long-term changes when it comes to fighting brain fog, the first thing I'm going to recommend, you guys probably know what I'm going to say, but it's your diet. There have been a bunch of studies where gluten, dairy, soy, and eggs have been known to cause delayed cognitive functioning. So if you guys are doing the AIP diet, that might be really beneficial to see if you are actually allergic to eggs or something that you might not have considered. I think the AIP diet is extremely helpful. I have yet to do it. I will do it though on this channel. I promise you. I promise you. There are so many things that you might be eating and you don't know that you're allergic to it. Like I know one girl, she never knew that she was allergic to eggs, never had an allergic reaction, did the AIP diet. Once she like took a bite of eggs, like after she did the program, she immediately swelled up and had all of this pain and all of her symptoms came back, and then she just stopped eating eggs, lost 13 pounds, living her best life. Never knew that she had an issue with eggs. So if you're really struggling with it and you really want to grasp it, even though the AIP diet is a huge challenge and obstacle to do, maybe we can do it together so we can find the root of whatever problems we all have. Second tip is to increase hydration. That's just plain and simple. I'm not going to go into depth about that, okay? The third tip is kind of along with your diet, but try to increase healthy fats and decrease starchy carbs. So that means less potatoes, less grains, more salmon, more avocado, just more healthy fat, because your brain is built of lipids, and so increasing healthy fats might help those lipids work together. There's a bunch of research on it that goes with the Fat for Fuel book that I mentioned in my current favorites. I'll link that video down below, and I will also link the book I'm talking about, but that doctor does go into a lot of detail about how fats are just better for the body. And though I'm not keto, I feel like I do run better on carbs. I do not run well on starchy carbs. I notice that when I eat pasta, I become this like blob of a human being. Maybe just cutting down starchy carbs and slowly increasing your healthy fats might help you. Fourth tip, go to your doctor. Check your blood levels for vitamin B, vitamin D, and your iron levels. And when you get your blood test done, instead of having your doctor tell you, yeah, you know, you're fine, you're in the normal levels. Normal levels is a spectrum, and you might just be at the very end of the low spectrum and it's still in the normal category. Talk to your doctor if that's your situation and see if you can just do like once a month B12 injection. So, you know, just because you're in a normal spectrum, because you're autoimmune, you might want to persuade your doctor into increasing those levels to where you're not at the end of the low spectrum, but more towards medium and high. The biggest thing for me was when I was anemic. If you're anemic, it basically means that you're not producing enough red blood cells, and that means that you are not carrying enough oxygen through your body, which means that your brain is not receiving the optimum level of oxygen for it to function. So I highly recommend, sorry I clapped so loud, I highly recommend that you check those levels. A big thing is that if you've just been diagnosed and you ate a lot of spinach or you ate a lot of red meat and then all of a sudden you can't because you're inflamed, that might decrease it a lot. So just talk to your doctor about that. The last tip I have for you when it comes to dealing with brain fog in a long-term scale is seeing a psychologist regarding trauma. And you might not even know that you have experienced trauma. When you have experienced trauma, your brain goes into a completely different setting where it becomes more animalistic. Your brain becomes focused on predators, threats, and your cortisol levels are at a state where it's constantly high. So when your brain is preoccupied looking for threats and you have your stress hormone levels peaking, that's going to really delay normal functioning thoughts. I didn't think about was trauma until like years after, but surgery is trauma. Back in 2014, I had an ileosectomy where they removed my ileum. And though I was completely confident and fine about it, I had an amazing doctor. I knew exactly what was going to happen. At the end of the day, your brain is put to sleep, and then you wake up with a piece of your organ missing. And that is a lot for your brain to process. And even though I was totally okay with it, that's still trauma. And before the surgery, even though I was inflamed and like just feeling horrible and was in a lot of pain, I was still walking around. I was still moving. I was still eating whatever I wanted. Everything was fine. Everything was like close to normal. And then I had surgery, woke up with about a 6-inch long incision, and then was missing part of my organs. And though I was mentally prepared for that, at the end of the day, your brain is still processing the fact that it went to sleep normal and then woke up with part of its organ missing, 6 inches of incision, and I can't walk. But even if you don't feel like you have experienced trauma, you should see a psychologist anyway. Everyone should see a psychologist anyway. But I'm going off topic. Next, so specifically for you college students, or if you are working and you have a serious deadline, I have what I call quick fixes that have worked on me, and I hope they work on you. The first tip that I will scream from the mountaintops: exercise. I was that disgusting human being where I would smash out an hour workout at the gym and then sprint to class, dripping in sweat, panting, smelling disgusting, and I would ace my test. And that is because when you work out, you have increased blood flow, increased oxygen levels, and you have endorphins rushing through your veins. And that is optimal for just focusing and being the best version of yourself, I feel like. The second tip is to utilize aromatherapy. Even if it isn't like drastically changing you, it just helps your vibe, you know? And it could honestly be like eating an orange. That's a way to get aromatherapy and get all of that citrus, and it's a great source of like good sugar. I've noticed that like having spearmint or like citrus smells just blowing in my face while I'm working on an essay allow me to have a clearer mind for a much longer period versus not having it. The third tip I have for a quick fix is do your homework at the optimal time that your brain functions, and that could be the most random hours. For example, I could not write an essay to save my life between 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. I was dead for those 5 hours. I could not process a single thing. So what I started to do is just use that time to clean, do my chores, kind of relax, go to bed super early, and wake up at 4 in the morning. I know that sounds crazy, but I could write a 4-page essay at 4 in the morning in one sitting, and I couldn't get anything done between 2 and 7. So just try to find the best time for you. Tip number 5 is to eat serotonin boosting carbs before a big exam. Sweet potato, fruit, and quinoa have all been shown to increase your serotonin levels, which is kind of known as your happy hormone, and it is a really good combatant to your high cortisol levels. Tip number 6 is to drink BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, before and during your test. A study was done showing that BCAAs influences the production of neurotransmitters. They have been shown to increase the plasma levels within your blood supply and have been shown to decrease aromatic acids, which therefore increases the production of serotonin levels. I will link the study below so you guys can read it all. One that I really recommend, you can get this on Amazon, is Extended BCAAs. Mango is one of my favorite flavors, but they have a bunch and you can buy them on Amazon. And the last tip, I don't remember what number I am on, but see if you can get testing extensions, because sometimes you just need more time. And having a chronic illness, whatever it is, as long as you have medical documentation, and even if you have not been diagnosed with anything but are on steroids, that still counts as a reason to have testing extensions. I hope this video was helpful. I'm gonna be honest, I do have a lot of brain fog right now. I'm kind of sick and I'm kind of nasally, so I'm just feeling very blah. But I hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any other tips, please leave them in the comment section down below. Remember, you're never alone, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.